Yeah, I think we're talking about sustenance today. Was it, Lee? How do you sustain yourself? So is it steak, egg, and chops, or is it vegan, or is it vegetarian? I'm not too sure what the direction of the sustenance question was, but let's talk sustenance. Lisa, over to you.
Well, good morning, everyone. Good to be on board, and nice to have Shahida with us. Warren, great to see you again, and everybody else are regulars. So great to have you all here. Yeah, we were talking yesterday about, I can't even remember what we were talking about yesterday. We're talking about, yeah, I've lost that train of thought. Big question marks. Thank you, Jesper. Appreciate the hand gesture. We were talking about what next. So what is it? We had plans, we had ideas, and then this COVID happened, things changed, and then what's next? So what are we now looking forward to, or what are we planning that's changed or that we need to change or think about differently? And as we were talking about that, what came up is this realization that what we're dealing with now is overwhelming, or what we need to go forward requires energy and a pace and something from us that we've never needed before. And I was thinking about it in terms of, Cecile actually had this great expression. She said, I haven't clutched out. I'm in a different gear. And it made me realize that actually COVID is a different gear. It's a gear we haven't needed to access before, but we all need to switch into that gear. The other sort of metaphor analogy that I thought of, and I hope you don't mind you don't mind it, because I have a confession that I'm a Game of Thrones fan. I actually read the books before, that's my claim to fame, before the show came out. I'm still waiting for the next book. That's how hopeful I am that the author will in actual fact get down to the business. I was hoping COVID would be it. But the family, that's the core family of Game of Thrones, have this phrase, winter is coming, winter is coming. And it seems like such a depressing motto for their family. And yet it's the motto that gives them the guts, the courage, the resilience, the perspective that says we have to prepare. We have to be ready. There is something big and momentous and difficult that we have to face, and we need to be ready for that. And with COVID, we had no preparation. There wasn't, I mean, as much as we can look at Bill Gates and bless his cotton socks that he had, and there might be these amazing thinkers that had some foresight, but the rest of us, you know, it hit us with a sledgehammer. And so we now have to get into that mindset. Winter is not only coming, but winter is here, and winter is going to be here for a long time. So what is it that we need to do in our actions, in our thoughts, that is going to keep us going? That's the sustainability that I was talking about. And yes, if it's steak, egg, and chips, then you go for it. But what I was thinking about is that, and then I was thinking about, so what do I do? What do I do? What am I doing at the moment to sustain myself? And I think, first of all, to acknowledge that it's certainly not a plain sailing journey that, you know, I'm floating above everything that's happening. A couple of weeks ago, if people asked me, you know, how are you? I would say I have pandemicitis. And it's the condition of living in a global pandemic over a long period of time, and it's still going to be in existence. And it's this weariness that that I've never felt before. It's a different kind of tiredness or weariness. And I couldn't think of another word that described this, this weight or this tiredness that I could only put down to living in a pandemic. And then on Sunday, I had a complete meltdown in front of my family, which I don't do. I don't do that. That's not something, you know, when I talk in front of my family, that's in front of my kids. And to the point that my daughter took me out for coffee this week, just to say, Mom, are you okay? Which is quite interesting that they had to have the shoe on the other foot, because that's normally what I do. And the only thing I can say is, well, those were release valves. You know, every now and again, you've got to let off steam. You've got to actually be where you are and express how you are. But for the rest of the time, what I'm doing is accepting the reality. So I think that's one of the things that I think sustains me, is not pretending that there isn't something that is serious and important. But then at the same time, getting on with life, not falling apart, not, you know, just actually picking up yourself each day, getting on with the work that needs to be done in that day, spending time with family. And one of the, and I'll end on this, one of the big projects that we've done over the last period of time is we have refurnished. So for those of you who don't know, my mom lives with us. She's got a little flat that is on our property, but it's a sort of very much a mixed living arrangement. But her flat, we have refloored, and we've repainted, and we've refurnished. And going shopping with her, yes, even in COVID times, with masks. And I wanted to show you that her project has been making masks. So she's taken a bad situation, and I mean, how gorgeous are these? So we take our masks and off we go. And we have bought lounge furniture and carpets, and just made her place even more cozy and wonderful to live in. So those are my stories and my thoughts around sustaining ourselves physically, emotionally, mentally in this COVID gear that we finding ourselves in. So would love to hear from you. What is sustaining you?
Great. Thanks, Lisa. I think we'll go over to the man who told us the other day that he's about to settle down. So I'm just wondering what gear that is for you, Edward. So
yeah, when Lee sets us these things to think about, I take notes. And two of the words that stuck out for me were change and sustain. And Warren talked about wanting to drive less, spend more time with his family. And I kind of wondered, and I think a lot of people will think that, and I kind of wondered, well, how's that going to happen? And I think we're going to have a big battle between the individual and the machine. And by the machine, I mean big business and government, because our towns and cities depend on people going in there, spending money at lunchtime, shopping, etc. Our shopping centres depend on us at weekends driving out there. Oil companies want to sell us petrol. I don't think it happens in South Africa. It certainly happens in the UK. Supermarkets use discounted petrol to attract people in. So there's going to be this huge commercial, and the government's going to need to get some taxes in. And one of the heaviest tax things is petrol. So I think, you know, the machine is going to try and frustrate people like Warren in their pursuit of what they want. And I just wonder, and I think when you set yourself a big, hairy, audacious goal, and I think driving less and spending more time with your family is one of these goals, you need to know what you're up against, but you also need to have some enthusiasm, some drive. And I just wonder how many people will manage to sort of escape the machine, but also escape the gravity of their past, of their normal ways, because we always tend to fall back into our normal ways. So what is it that's going to give that huge push? And I just wonder whether people are going to win those battles or not. So that's my thoughts.
Thanks, Edward. Yeah, no, we don't have supermarket discounted petrol. We just have a power utility that keeps on putting the price up and then cuts us off and still wants us to pay. So we've got a we've got a slightly inverted situation in that one. So yeah, we had lots of fun and games down in the bottom of the world here in the south of Africa. So Jasper, what's going to be sustaining you?
Well, I was hoping you guys will give me the answer on that. That's why I come to these meetings every morning. But I think Edward started off with a very a good, sober reality check on out there, and I like his description of this big machine. I had a friend way back who was a very high-earning professional, but he said, I've created a monster of a lifestyle, and if I don't feed this monster every month, this monster will eat me up. And I think our governments find themselves having created this monster of a thing that they have to keep feeding, although it's no longer sustainable. Anyway, that's a separate topic altogether. Just individually, I think the reality that, like Lee said, there was no long lead up to winter is coming. We just woke up and on a Sunday night, the announcement was made as of Monday, or I think it was on a Friday, but something like as of Monday. And now what? And I think what I hear from most people, we had someone here yesterday, but it's almost universal. The first 2-3 weeks was treated as an adventure, and people stayed home and watched TV and had fun, and then slowly but surely it dawned on them, but if they don't work, they not eat. And now what? And this, what is now this next alternative? And so many, especially here in South Africa, I think 50% plus are not going back to a salary job because the jobs are no longer exist. So I think it's a panic stage almost in most minds as to who's going to bail me out this time, because the government can't bail you out. We haven't seen any of these things. So with that long introduction, basically for me, it's to keep going on my side. I have created a routine over this last 3-4 months period, of which wisdoms is one of my routines to start my day. And I like that if initially you added Saturdays and Sundays too, and then I had no routine because there was no differentiation between a weekend and a week. So the days just flowed into each other, and you started to lose track of time. But I think it's about a routine, and then having almost a routined way of handling your tasks on your desk and stuff like that, so you stay in a routine. And then it's a repositioning. I think I was fortunate there that because of the exposure with like-minded people and with the chamber that we had for the last couple of years, we were asking these questions of where is the future going? And we already identified the fourth industrial revolution and this whole online and artificial intelligence and all of that. So I think whatever you do, except if you're a photographer, then you have to be physically out in nature. But make sure that at least the bulk of your income is developed from what do you call it, the digital space, so that you can literally live anywhere and do it there. So for me, it's just 2 words that came up when we thought about this whole topic, and that's routine and repositioning.
Great, thanks Jasper. And it's amazing how long it can take to say 2 words. I'm quite impressed with that. So. Right, Warren, let's get across to you. Your mic, Warren, your mic is muted.
Sorry. Morning, everyone. Schoolboy error there. Sorry. This will be part of my routine during the week. I agree with Jasper. I do like a routine. That's why I go on the 8 o'clock Your Partnership meetings, because they get my day going. But this is just inspirational in terms of focusing me and reminding me of what life is about. And I love Game of Thrones, by the way, Lee. Someone told me about it, and I ended up watching 5 series in about under 3 weeks. I was binging madly. Look, what I said the other day, or yesterday, they do all merge into one day, Jasper. Ed was saying that I don't want to drive and I want to spend more time with my family. Well, that's the reason why I do what I do, so I can spend more time, because I got fed up working for other people, working 6-7 days a week, late at night, not seeing my wife and kids, and I vowed I wouldn't do that again with my younger kids. So, but with COVID and the way we've done our business, I don't have to drive as much. I will have to drive for the Your Partnership networking meetings, and I don't have a problem with that. I've got quite an economical car, so you know, in terms of the environment, we will do whatever we can to help in that way. But I said this yesterday, and I said this to a few people: if people in this lockdown haven't adapted their business or themselves, or learnt something new, or that they can add to their portfolio moving forward, they've missed a massive trick. Okay, so whether you want to add a product or a service that you can help with your business as we come out of this, it's only the start. Jasper's completely right. You know, 9 million furloughed in the UK, 649,000 have already lost their jobs since March. They suspect that 3 million of that 9 million furloughed will lose their jobs, and it's just going to be horrific for the next few years. So you have to do something different, because you know everyone's going to be clutching for that money, and you know, even if you come up with a second income way, there are always going to be people with money. Let's face it, there will always be people with money, but the majority of a lot of people are going to struggle. And you know, are they going to have the money to buy a product that they have to use and run it, you know, wait till it runs out, or they don't need? It's looking at it differently. It's what I'm trying to say. So doing virtual training or virtual stuff to enhance your business is the way forward, and make it sustainable for a future. You know, and I think this has taught a lot of people that you can be different. You can work from home a few days a week and go to work, or you can do whatever you can do whatever you want to do if you focus your mind to it. And that's, you know, that's fundamental for everyone, really. It's how far you want to push to get to your goals, you know, and what do you have to do to get to those goals. So, you know, after this, I will write my list of things that I have to do today, and the biggest frog, I will eat the biggest frog, which is the most uncomfortable thing I don't want to do, but I'm going to do that first. So the others will seem easy. So that's how I'm going to move forward. So that's me. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Warren. Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting tussle between the inertia that Ed was talking about from the machine and the need to do exactly what you're saying, is actually change the way you're doing things, change the way you think, start moving forward, and fight that inertia. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting period going forward, I think, from here. All right, Cecile, let's get across to you.
Oops. Oh, let me just get out of the light here. Sorry, there we go. Oops. Am I? Yeah, sorry. Yes. Every time I think, okay, what now? Then something comes up. Just move this. I'll say that's better. Then something comes up, and then some of this PPE stuff, or some of my customers phone and say this is wrong with their switchboards or whatever, and then I've got to mobilize some technicians and do whatever I have to do. But it's all kind of in my hermit state, right here from home. And yeah, Lee, it's just like you say, at times you feel kind of, it just weighs you down. You think, okay, what now? What gaan on? Because just when my hopes are all up and I'm doing nicely with say one of the new PPE customers, then I go and I don't know what it is, but South Africans are terrible about about their company registrations, because I think, okay, great, I will research Lee's company and check on CIPC if she's a real person, and then there's so many incongruencies, and it deflates my balloon completely, but then I just keep on going, and I keep on. I try and see it from their side, but I don't know why people are so bad in changing their CIPC details. I mean, that's the basis of business, where people must find you. So just this morning again, I'm checking a few million rand deal, and the CIPC details is incorrect. So then I'm thinking, okay, maybe this is another scam. But anyway, so I'm just putting one foot in front of the other. I tried not to plan too much, not to get my hopes up too much. But yeah, so it's just one day at a time. But I'm hanging in there. But I feel sorry for my husband because he, in the insurance industry, things are just so flat at the moment, and people don't have money. People don't have money to do things. They, if anything, they're cancelling things because they don't see. They'd rather insure their car right now than their lives. Anyway, so yeah. And Jasper, I feel for you. I'm trying to think, what can we do about eagles there, because I love eagles. Maybe the best thing to do is turn it into a hospital right now, because it looks like that's what the big machine needs more than anything else, is hospital beds. That's it.
Great, thanks, Cecile. I think the big machine needs some intelligence. I'm not sure about hospital beds, but yeah, that's just my opinion. So Kevin, let's get across to you.
Hi, morning everyone. I'm going to copy Jasper's example to a degree and use two words. My two words are looking forward. There is so much in the world you can't control, so let's look forward to what we can do and can control. Three particular aspects in life, really. One is a bit of a common theme for this week, which is our running. I mean, start with when COVID came in, it was on your own, straight from the front door, couldn't drive anywhere. Now it's gone up to small groups of up to 6, and it was looking like it might go up to 15. So we're looking forward to the next step, to running with more friends of a common theme. On a business front, again, looking forward to the bigger expansion of the business. We've got a big player come into our team who's really ripping it up, and we're about to explode just in line with that travel boom. South African roots as well, just like a coincidence, he comes from South Africa. But yeah, he's rewriting the book for the whole team, so that's going to explode. Really looking forward to that. And then in the personal front, looking forward to 2 new grandchildren coming along. So there's plenty of things to look forward to. So yeah, so looking forward. Perhaps add the word positivity to that. Look forward with positivity.
Great, thanks, Kevin. I think that's a great way to go about it as well. So Nazipa, let's get across to you.
Hi, Ivan. Thank you. You know, I think I don't know. That's my answer. Like, I don't know what's going to sustain me moving forward. I don't. I was hoping that the more I listen to people, the more I'll get an idea, but I still don't have an idea. I don't know. I think for me, COVID hit just as I was busy picking my pieces up from my whole Free State Durban move, etc. And then I found myself in the COVID situation as I was busy building up to the next. So I don't know. I think that's my answer at this stage. I have no idea. I just have faith. I'm hoping my faith is what's going to sustain me. Thanks.
Great, thanks, Nazipa. Well, hang around. Maybe we can help find some ideas for you in this forum. So Shahida, I'm going to come across to you now. You've had a chance to hear.
Hi, Ivan. Yeah, thank you so much for having me, and thank you, Warren, for inviting me on this lovely group. For me, guys, it's going back to basics, and I start the morning with gratitude. And I'm telling you, it's in the Bible, it's in the Quran, it's everywhere. When we are grateful for what we have, we get more of it. And I am such a believer in that. And I've been doing this for the last 18 months. What I do is the first thing I do in the morning. I haven't done it yet because it's 7 o'clock start, but I write 15 things I'm grateful for. And I start with my health. And the first thing I write is for breathing. Because when I couldn't breathe, when I had situations where I couldn't breathe, all I wanted to do was breathe. So for me, breathing is such a big thing. And we take it for granted. Like the next breath, is it going to come? We take that for granted. So I start with breathing, my health, my beauty, everything that God has given me. I start with that. Then I move on to my family. I'm grateful for the children I have, my family, my friends, my siblings. Then I move on to wealth. Like, we have so much wealth where we are right now. We have food, we have house, we have car, we have a business. If you have a business, we have a business. And I always say that I'm grateful for my thriving business. Even if it's not thriving to where we want it to be, I am grateful for where I am right now. And if we get into that mentality, I'm telling you, we will attract more into our life. And that's how we get more. So that's what I do first of all, is I ground myself by going back to basics and being grateful. The other thing about lockdown that I realized is, oh, I love it, Trevor. You're my cheerleader in lockdown, is that if we don't build relationships now, when are we going to build relationships? This is the time to build relationship, make connections. So when Warren said to me, come to South Africa, I thought, you know what? Warren just didn't say that. There's a reason for that. Everything happens for a reason. And if you can either take that opportunity or you can leave that opportunity. I could just sleep in today and wake up an hour or two later. But I thought, no, that's God's, that is Allah saying to me, right, Shahida, this is someone trying to help you get into South Africa. I don't know what the reason is. And maybe later on we can connect the dots. But when somebody offers you something, take it with both hands. There's a reason for it. Nothing is by accident. Anything that comes in your way, take it. Follow your intuition and build relationships. And this is the time to do it. Everything's a blessing. Even lockdown's a blessing. So many businesses are thriving. I understand lots of businesses are coming down, but if we go back to basics, like everything there's a reason for this. Mother Nature is healing. People are caring about people more. We are looking after our body more. We're resting more. We're not running around for, like this rat race life that we used to live. So everything, if we see everything as a blessing, I'm telling you, we will attract the right things and the right people in our life. Thank you, Ivan.
Thank you, Shahida. Yeah, very, very powerful. I agree 100%. The power of gratitude is vastly underestimated, and the importance of breath as well. So I agree with you 100% on your sentiments there, and thank you for that. So, Trevor, let's get across to you. Oh, Warren, yeah.
No, well, Shahida stole my whole basic premise, and that was back to basics. At times of chaos, you must know that when chaos happens, and I'm going to go back to that paddling analogy, everything that you've built up to be a great paddler, whether you are a weak paddler or a strong paddler, if that rapid is pumping, it doesn't matter how good you are, you're just trying to stay upright. And at the moment, the world is trying to stay upright. That we have entered this winter of discontent, or whatever, the Game of Thrones winter has come, it dumped on us this ton of snow, and people are feeling out of control. For me, that's the most exciting time in life, because you can then create your own controls. And so just this going back to basics is really think about Maslow's hierarchy. Think about what it takes to survive. Think about, are you covered? Have you got a roof over your head? Have you got the food coming in? Those are all the basics. If you're a business operator and you've done all your work, you understand that you've got to offer value to actually get a return. And then you've got to work out, well, what has actually happened here. And this is what I think is quite exciting about what's happened in the world. It doesn't matter what value of assets you actually have at the moment. The richest person in the world, as compared to the poorest person in the world, has actually been brought closer and closer together, been equalized out. It can take you 2 to 3 days to be wiped out from the face of this earth. So what's happened with this COVID, I think it's equalized opportunity for most people to recognize that now's your time to actually take control of what you want. And as I was listening, I think it was Kevin, had the thought go through my head. What we're doing around here, and what Shahida did as well, is where this is a little group sitting around a little fireplace, and it's like a little coal on a game of Survivor, and I'm visualizing people blowing on the flames. There they go, and what we're actually doing here is fanning the flames of actually not accepting this reality, but actually fanning the flames of what is it that we can do either together, or how can I help you? How can I help Jasper? How can we fan the flames of doing something positive that repositions us? And none of us can see the answers. And that's exciting for me because it means we can start getting creative from my perspective. There was one other thing that I wanted to actually touch on, but I lost that train of thought. I think fanning of the flames. Oh, I'll tell you what the train of thought is. We've done exactly this. Jasper, Ivan, Gavin, myself sat down yesterday, I think it was, time just flies. And we turned around and said, you know what, we had this magnificent virtual trade fair 2 to 3 weeks ago. It was so great. Now what can we do? And there we said, right, well, we hit 118 exhibitors. Why don't we try and go for 1,000 exhibitors? Now, other people would turn around and say, but you're crazy. I mean, it was 4 days. We were so tired. Let me tell you, running Comrades was nothing compared to the 4-day virtual trade fair event that we had, Edward. We were tired after that event. And yesterday, this group turned around and said, okay, in 60 days' time, we're now going to put 1,000 exhibitors in place. And then on top of that, the Wisdoms teams turned around and said, well, next Friday, we're launching the Wisdoms Global Summit. So how's that for allowing the world to actually affect where you're actually going? We're not. We are actually taking control of our reality, and we're going out there and we're fanning the flames of growth. Simple as that. And I think that's back to basics.
Thanks, Troy. Yeah, Warren, you wanted to comment before?
Yeah, look, so I want to thank Shahida for coming on this morning. And I heard Shahida's story yesterday, and it was really powerful, and it hit I want to do something. So that's why I suggested she come on here, because I was really impressed with yesterday's meeting. And Kevin and Ed have been going on about these meetings for a little while, to be fair. But Lee, your talk on Tuesday was very inspirational, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to do this. But Shahida's story, I urge you to listen or let her tell her story, because it's really powerful. Phenomenal story, and I want to get her on again in your partnerships event, because it was, I think there was only 10 or 12 people there, but I want to get it into a bigger forum for Shahida to tell the story, because, you know, if she can do what she's done, then anybody can do whatever they want to do. So yeah, that's what I love reaching incentives or goals. I'm quite competitive like that in a sad way. My wife might tell you that I want to hit every incentive that they have at my company, but you know, to get where you want to be, you've got to push the boundaries and out of your comfort zone, and Shahida's done that. So you know, a big shout out to her. So thank you.
Fantastic. Thanks, Warren. And absolutely, you hit the nail on the head, perhaps without even knowing it. What we love to do from time to time is hear people's stories on this forum. So the last one we heard a few days ago was Ed's, which was amazing. But I think we definitely have both of you lined up in Lee's spotlight coming up at some point in the future. So she'll certainly be knocking virtually on your door at some point to say we'd love to hear your stories. So thank you for that, and thank you for inviting Shahida and joining the group. You know, the more like-minded folk we can get on this forum, the more cross-pollination of thoughts and ideas and stimulation we're going to get, and I think it's going to become fantastic. Yeah, so from my point of view, just very simply, I'm going to just wrap up with my 2 words. The first is simplification. I think what it's allowed me to do over this period of time is to start really thinking about simplifying things and sharpening the focus. So simplification and focus are the 2 key things that I think are going to sustain me and probably everybody going forward. Get rid of the complications, get rid of the the unnecessary and just simplify and focus. So that's me. So Lee, over to you to wrap up and tell us what's on the go for Monday. I did get the day right this time, Trevor. It's Friday today, I think.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, everybody. And Nozipo, I hope you've got some more ideas. I am hoping that, I mean, there were some amazing insights from this morning. So thank you, everybody, for sharing. And so when I was thinking, and I want to pick up on what Warren was saying in that, and Ivan sort of emphasized as well, is that we have these, just these sharing moments around topics that arise out of this free flow conversation. And then we take moments to just listen and appreciate and be inspired by the ordinary stories of, the extraordinary stories of ordinary people. And so far, everybody's had a chance to share their story who's already been here. I really urge you to go onto our YouTube channel to listen to some of those stories. They are really amazing. But we don't pounce straight away. So, but if Warren is volunteering you, Shahida, we may well ask you at some point in time. But Warren, don't think that you're going to be excluded.
Thank you very much, Leah.
For Monday, I'd actually like to pick up these two ideas of fanning the flames and Shahida's building relationships, that this is an opportunity to build relationships. And it's almost counterintuitive because most of us are sitting at home and yet we are creating, or there are opportunities to connect. I mean, Warren, I would never, Shahida, Kevin, Edward, we wouldn't have met if it wasn't for these moments. And so what is it that we can do to build relationships at this time? Fanning the flames of connecting with others in positive, life-giving ways to ourselves and to others. So that's the question that I'm inviting us to think about for a Monday. What does it take to build relationships, to take opportunities and fan those flames? That's going to warm the cockles of our hearts.
Oh, that's a very English phrase, Lee.
There you go.
Wow.
Okay,
you know, I grew up in Zimbabwe. It was a colony.
All right. Okay, thanks, folks. Thanks, everyone. Have a fantastic weekend. Don't get too close to the flames. You might get burnt, but fan them anyway. And have a great one, and we'll see you Monday morning. Go well.